What is up, everybody? Digital Gate Studios. Today we are here with Basil,
What's up?
and he's going to be talking about a really cool deck profile. When I first saw this, my first thought was, how did I not think of this? I love this deck. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got?
Yeah, we were right around the corners BT13, and if you've watched the interview I did with Jeff a little bit ago, you know that I am adamantly against a certain set of cards, and those are ones that cost 0 to play and gain you memory meeting certain conditions. And something I talked about when I was talking with Jeff is that eventually someone's going to figure out a way to do this with purple and Jack Raid. And literally the next day, I saw a list that was doing well in Japan where it used a bunch of memory manipulation cards to win the game. And it sort of inspired this deck. It's a little bit different than that one. I'm putting my own spin on it, but it has the same idea of gaining a bunch of memory and then doing a huge combo in one turn.
It definitely does that.
So we're going to jump right into it with Mervamon. Draw one, trash one on deletion. A classic purple card. I have nothing much more to say here. We're going to need to get a bunch of cards in our hand to do our combo that we're doing.
And in trash.
And in trash, that's right. And comboing with that is the level 3 Gabumon on deletion. Draw 2, trash 1. You're starting to see what I'm going for here. Another classic purple rookie is the Ignitemon.
Fantastic card.
This is a bit of a spoiler for later in the deck is we're doing Mervamon. So this is going to be our recommended Digicross because it's going to gain one when we play stuff by effects. And the when attacking comes up here a lot more than it would with other decks because we're going to need to kill floodgates, specifically the memory blockers. Because if they have a memory blocker out, our deck is completely turned off. And playing anything by effects, those floodgates are also problematic. Our next level 3 and our last one is Demi from EX1. And this is important because we're going to need more retaliation sources for the Mervacross. Because sometimes you're going to run out of them or you're not going to necessarily have them in trash. Because if your level 4s aren't retaliators or you don't have the Ignitemons in trash, Devi is just another target that Mervamon can play and give rush to. That's it for the level 3s. Then we'll move on to the level 4. The classic Eismon scatter mode, draw 3, trash 2. So obviously if we have Eismon, Gabumon, and Demimera and it dies, we're going to be set up really well.
The classic combo.
As long as it dies, you know.
Which it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't die, but when it does, it's really good. Then we have the Dark Lizardmon, basically not only our budget Eismon scatter mode, but also a retaliation target for Mervamon. And there's a rare case where they have an unsuspended level 6, and you can deal with it with the Dark Lizardmon. We have 2 more level 4s. We have our restricted Eismon. We would play probably more of them if we could, but we can't, so we just play the one. And we have 1 Ginkaku Promote. The reason that we have this in particular is the Eismon doesn't gain rush from Mervamon because it doesn't have retaliation and isn't a crossheart. So Ginkaku Promote is going to be our last check a lot of the times when we have the Eismon. Because if we, on the turn where we go into Mervamon, if we have any trash effects from the Dark Lizard or an Eismon or anything, the Eismon is going to get played and it doesn't have rush. For 1 memory, we're getting another swing with the Ginkakumon. This could change for a lot of cards. We'll talk about that at the end, things that I think are honorable mentions. Yeah. But I found that Ginkaku Promote was the best last check in the deck. We're going to skip the level 5s for now. We don't really play level 5s in this deck. We kind of do. That'll make sense a little bit later on. We're going to skip right to 3 of the Mervamon. This card is not being played enough for how good it is.
I feel like it's just the best card Purple's got this game.
I mean, you see it in Crossheart in the Merva Cross strategy. You see it sometimes even in the Cross 7 and the Superior Mode builds, and then Minervamon as well. But even just by itself in most purple decks, I think you could put it in and it'd probably be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it just does what, I mean, we had Piedmon back in like 1.5. It's just way better than that.
Yeah, we were talking about Anubismon, kind of the same situation. When you Digicross play 2 Digimon from trash, they gain Rush and Blocker if they're a Retaliator. So that's going to be on our big turn, we're going to play this and then swing at least 3 times. So that's sort of the idea behind this deck. We'll get into the enablers in a second, but another part of our setup is for Orochimon. When you trash it from your hand, draw 1. So this is going to have synergy with our Eismon, our Dark Lizard, and our Egg and Gabumon.
This card actually gives so much handed. Pretty insane.
So dying with Eismon, Gabumon, Demimera is already good, but then when you trash these, it gets even better.
If you trash 2 of them, you're +4 cards.
Yeah. And then the sort of flip side is the Nidhogg, which gains us 1.
Fantastic.
So this is another turn extender and just another thing to trash the hand, because there are times you already have Ignite and Dark Lizard and trash for the Mervamon, and so you're like, well, I don't know, I'll just trash something. These are things like, okay, if I trash them, I don't even have to think about it.
Merva's one of those cards, you get those key numbers, and then you're just like, okay, I'm going to draw more, I'm going to gain.
Mm-hmm. Then the real thing that the real keystone of the deck, 4 purple memory boost, 4 mist memory boost, 2 glaive memory boost, and 4 Jack Raid. So what we're really looking at here is you can probably go to 20 memory in 1 turn.
Wow.
So I don't know how someone hasn't done this sooner, because these four cards are not new, but we really haven't had a reason to do them yet.
Until Merva.
Until Merva, and then there's also coming is the Wisdom Training, which is the purple training card. So eventually, it's going to get into a situation where you're at 1, and then you can you pop 3 boosts, go to 7. You can Merva from there with the Ignite Mon because it costs 8, and then you gain 1 from the effect inherited of the Ignite Mon. And already with 1 memory and 3 setup, you already have enough to do 3 checks.
Right, and we're freeing up a lot of space by not playing those level 5s like you were talking about, because you really don't need to. You're trying to just, get to your 4 for the draw trash, and then skip to your 6.
And then skip to the 6. And so the other thing that's scary about this, specifically in relation to like the Merva Cross, the full Crossheart strategy, is Jack Raid has a security effect of gain 2 memory. So if you swing into security, there's a 1 in 5 chance that you're going to hit a memory boost, and then there's also 4 Jack Raids.
But
so
I have to ask, how much of a problem do you have with floodgates? I'm not really seeing a lot of removal.
Well, we have the Ignite Mon, and we have our last option. We have 1 Pandemonium Flame. And this is going to come up in a lot of ways or the only way that this is going to come up is when they have the Floodgate Rookie. So my recommendation for this deck is when they have a Chumon, Terriermon, Gazimon, etc., you have to keep an Ignite-Mon and Raising without anything else, and then hard play either the Demi-Devi, Eismon, Dark Lizard, whatever.
But why not just play Deathclaw?
We could play Deathclaw, and that's something that I think is fine, but Pandemonium Flame basically does the same thing. And it's basically what it really is a placeholder until BT13. There's a Digimon, I think it's Phascomon. It's on play and on deletion, delete a level 3. And so
Fantastic.
We'll probably just be playing that later, but Pandemonium Flame, it's the same idea, just kill a Floodgate Rookie. And then we've got 2 more cards in the deck. 2 purple Mimi. this card originally was Matt, the memory setter from BT1, the grab one from trash. Because we were playing, instead of the Ginkaku promote, we were playing Loimon. But we ended up going with the Mimi because it makes Jack Raid +1 when you play it, and it makes your boosts cheaper. And then if there's a turn where you don't boost, it also can use to make your opponent's options more
looking
expensive.
at the play costs, I mean, ideally you're going to be playing your boost for 3, and that kind of forces you to go to 0, pay a bunch of memory to pass the turn, as where with the Mimi, you can really control to consistently give 1.
Yeah, so the Mimi's able to choke your opponent with the boosts. It's going to make Jack Raids +1, and if you get past to 1, this is just going to pass them right back to 1 anyway. A couple of honorable mentions that I have for this deck. The first is Beelzemon Blast Mode, which is one way to get onto Mervamon for 1 and then swing again.
Just be careful because it does lose rush.
It does lose rush, and there's not a lot of times where you have 20 cards in trash, because your deck is pretty glass in security. Like, they are going to be hitting the boosts, which is bad for them, but a lot of the times things aren't going to die. There's a lot of low DP numbers here, so a lot of level 4s that are swinging aren't going to die, so you could be in trouble that way, which is why I recommend keeping with the Mervamon so that you can put a bunch of Digimon out and just kill them, because they aren't going to die when they swing into your security. And then if you wanted to switch to the mat, I think that's fine. And then that would be where you would play the Loimon as hybrid for game.
Yep.
Sort of better than the Mimi, because on the turn where you go into Merva, you're almost always going to be using the Mimi to make your Jack Raid gain you more memory. But try it out. I think there are a lot of different purple cards you could play in this deck. I even was looking at BT13, and you could play the Proto Gizamon and the stuff like that to give you more consistency in killing your Eismon, whatever you want. What this deck more of is than anything else is sort of a template. If you play all of these cards and then have a strategy that needs a lot of memory, you're going to have a lot of success. The inspiration for this deck was from something that used Lilith as a top end with Creepymon and Megidramon and all of the Guilmon mill stuff, and used all of their memory to mill someone out in 1 turn. And I think that's really cool too. But I just went for Mervamon because that's something that I'm comfortable with and it made sense to me. But really, take this and do with it what you will. And let us know in the comments what you do with it, because I think this opens up a lot of opportunities. Anytime you've ever thought to yourself, God, if only I just had a little bit more memory, play something like this and see what you can do with 15 memory in 1 turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to see it go off, and it does it pretty consistent. There's not a lot you can do to stop it besides, hope that they don't have removal for your...
I will say, Floodgates is the biggest counter. The second one is Death X, because Death X is going to take your Merva down to your Ignite and kill everything that it can play.
Yeah, but you just wait till you can kill.
Which is why I'm very heavily considering this as an Ultimate Cup deck, because this, as it stands, is Ultimate Cup legal, and Death X is completely restricted in that format. So if you're looking to get Bandai's attention to remove this card from play, play it at the Ultimate Cup.
Let's not get carried away here.
Bandai to notice that this card is unhealthy.
Nope. Great card. Leave
that's just how I feel about it.
Give me an altar for it. All right, well, that's the deck list, everybody. Let us know what you think. We love this deck. It's so much fun. Try it out. You got any closing thoughts for us?
I just think that playing things with Rush from the trash is super cool, and having 10 memory is also
fantastic.
Super cool.
I love it. We know we like Merva here. All right, well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.